Welcome to this episode. The digital future is no more just a mere speculation. It's here, it's progressing, and it's compelling IT leaders to innovate with scale. Now, Crayon has been at the forefront of this revolution, leading the way in the digital transformation maze. Its experts have assisted IT decision makers make data driven and cost effective decisions while navigating the digital future. And we have with us today the man at the helm of it, Mr. Vikas Bhonsle. Vikas is the CEO of Crayon Software Experts and has been instrumental in setting up the India business for the group. Vikas has close to 2 decades of extensive experience in providing customer focused business solutions and in domains like sales, marketing, and business development. In this conversation with Vikas, we will try and understand the trends to take shape in the coming year, the influence the industry will have because of it, the changing relationship dynamic between vendors, customers, and channels, and the need to reinvent the business model. Welcome, Vikas. Thank you for joining us for this conversation.
Thank you, Vaishnavi, and thanks for the very generous introduction. I hope you're doing well.
Yes, thank you so much. This has been a dynamic year for you, as I understand, and there have been a lot of achievements. Kindly throw a light on those in terms of business growth, customer acquisitions, and new innovations in 2021.
Yeah, one of the positives that has come out of the whole pandemic issue is that it has given us and similar companies like us in the technology industry a massive impetus, right? Right from 2020, we have seen growth in our business that we haven't seen in the last 5 years that we started business in. So from a customer business standpoint, ever since we've grown at multiples of 30 to 40% on a year-on-year basis, which got slightly accelerated during the last 2 years. So business-wise, that has been extremely heartwarming to see the kind of growth that we have. We've added customers across the segments, right? We've entered the enterprise segment, the public sector business, the corporate customers, startups, unicorns. So in terms of business acquisition, it's massive. If you look at what we do, and we have a very hybrid way of going to market, right? We have a direct customer interaction, and we also approach customers through a partner route, through the distribution channel, which is largely on the cloud side. So on the cloud side, we reached out to massive number of customers, largely SMBs, and through our partner ecosystem, I would foster a guess that we would be catering to at least about 20,000 SMBs in the marketplace today. So in terms of business growth, acquisition of customers, it has been absolutely wonderful. When I look at innovation, and one of the innovations that when people talk about the crisis that we've all gone through, a lot of innovation happens on people's side. How are you making sure that people are motivated, they are taken care of, are they safe, all of that. And we've done a lot of work, and not going to reel that off here, because very early in the pandemic itself, we said that we're not going to cut any jobs. None of you are going to lose jobs. Whatever happens in the economy, we are not going to step back and say, okay, we need to take a cut. And there are various things that we did in terms of increasing insurance and providing health cover and COVID cover and whatnot, additional leaves. From a business standpoint, because we work with a lot of OEMs, Vaishnavi, we came out with a cloud hoster program, right, which was very unique, not only from an India perspective, but because we are a global company. None of our subs across the globe have done something like this, which is going and talking about, of course, one is deep discounting, but more than that, this is about collaborative efforts with our partners. How do we go to market together? How do we stitch solutions together? What are the offerings that we can bring to market? How do we sell together? All those kind of things. And, it has given us a very big spike in our business. This is one innovation I would like to certainly call out, because this is never heard of, never done by anybody in the India market, nor globally.
All right. Thank you, Vikas. Thank you for that insight. And well, let's move a bit ahead on the similar topic. The pandemic brought some unprecedented changes with it, and focusing on one such aspect, how is the relationship dynamic between vendors, channels, and customers getting affected because of it?
Yeah, the good part is, and at least this has been my experience. So let me talk about a few things. And when the pandemic started in 2020, every customer came to us and said, especially in the hospitality industry, travel, all of those people, and they said, we just don't have any business. How can we pay you, right? At the very least. And then we went back to our OEMs and said, we are having a massive problem. And most of them turned back and said, okay, we understand this, and we are going to give you extended terms. And this is a very simplistic example that I'm giving you. And then we extended those offerings to our customers and to our partners. Then there was this whole thing about we need to acquire new customers. Because what was happening during the pandemic was it was easier to work with the customers or the partners that you're working with. It was very difficult to go and acquire. So there was this whole thing about in the entire channel community, the OEM community, how do we acquire more? So there was a coming together of minds, of ideas, of collaborative effort, which says we need to do something different to now go and acquire customers. So there was money that was put into the business. There were resource planning stuff. There was management, executive management time provided, where we all sat together and started ideating as to how we can go and acquire business. The point I'm trying to make here, Vaishnavi, is that the last 2 years, I have seen that everyone has become very empathetic towards us. This is my experience, to each other's situation. And they said that we are all in this together, right? If you have a problem, that problem extends to me, and then it extends downstream to other people. So for the very first time in so many years that I've been working together, I saw coming together of different communities to say, we are in this together, and we're going to come and scatter it together. And let's do whatever needs to be done, to stay alive and thrive. Right? Whether it is doing co-funding, doing marketing activities, going to market together, providing resources, all of that things. And I've been absolutely elated at the level of collaboration and support that I've seen in the ecosystem in this years of pandemic.
So empathy is a strong feeling that is being seen in the community, and that's a good news and a positive note to begin the new year as well for us. Let's focus a little bit on the customers, and the current pandemic has changed the expectations and purchasing behavior of the customers. Therefore, channel firms are thereby reconsidering their whole business model. What steps are you taking, Vikas, to reinvent the business model or your whole approach to the market?
Yeah. So a lot of things have happened, Vaishnavi. So the first thing that we did, and it was not because of the pandemic, it is just like God's providence, that we started planning our services business. Now we've today 7 years into India market. The initial first few years were all about acquisition of customers. We just wanted to go and acquire customers, show up. Everyone used to ask me, what's your strategy? And I used to say, show up. Just be where there is a customer, go and win a customer, right? And then we had massive acquisition of customers, more than 1,000 customers. And then we said, and of course the world was also changing and incentive models were also changing. And we said, no, now we need to start looking at how we build our services business. And when we started talking and building and laying the first foundational bricks of that business, the pandemic came, and it was God providence that we were ready with something, with our services offerings, exactly in line with what the customers wanted to see during the pandemic. So it was providence that happened that we started our services business. And the last 2 years, one of the things that we have done is we have aligned our offerings on services, whether it is collaboration tools, whether it is, desktops online, whether it is digital transformation adoption, all of those things. And we do all of that for our customers and our partners. We are digital transformation experts across the globe. So one of the things that we have innovated, I wouldn't say it is innovated, but it's the need of the hour, so to say. And we've accelerated this whole digital transformation offerings, readiness of the customers to go onto the cloud, taking them to the cloud, helping them be on the cloud by providing managed services, adopting technologies, various technologies that are available on cloud platforms today. So that's something that we did. Then we looked at, and we were saying, well, all this is working very fine, but we still need to be a little bit more sharp. We need to be a little bit more optimized in the way we are doing things. And then we said, okay, why don't we just cull out? And then, our vision 1.0 was go and acquire customer. Vision 2.0 was, build our services business. We're now looking at vision 3.0, where we're saying, of course, when you look at services, we can't be, managing so many, hundreds and thousands of customers. So how do we narrow it down to, filter it down to about 300, 400, where we really go deep? So the other thing that we are doing is building a deep vertical with our existing customers. And now because of the services capabilities, you will see a bigger foray from us on the enterprise space, on the large logos that we have traditionally stayed away from, is because we didn't want to get into a price price game where we didn't see any value that we could provide beyond the price. And so that's something that you will see massively from us. The third and the final point is the selling is changing. Earlier, you could go and sit physically, uh, be in front of a customer and do a sale. These days, that's not something that's easily happening. It's a lot of the way our conversation is happening today. How do you speak to a customer over a telecom or a video call, and how do you make sure that you're able to sell? So in a way, most of the sellers are becoming your inside sellers, right? There is no physical interaction. Most of the things are happening over virtual mediums, whether it is a phone, whether it is um, a non-physical medium, rather, whether it is a Zoom call or a Teams call or all of those things. And that requires a different kind of a skill. A physical engagement is a different kind of a skill, and this is a different kind of a skill. So we are investing in making sure that we are imparting digital selling skills to our people, right? We are building a program to talk about that, and of course, we are also looking at how we are building diversity, because we've seen a massive uptick in the way uh, we get different ideas, cultures, values that you bring in when you bring in diversity, and there's a massive thrust on diversity as well in the organization.
Thank you, Vikas. So your focus is also going to be towards enterprises, a new terrain that you're going to try, which you haven't tried. And the focus is also to bring diverse ideas and opinions that would enrich your business. Got it. So let's get some outlook for the next year. And what do you see in terms of technology trends that will influence or be at the forefront in the coming year?
So without doubt in my head, the one major thing that is going to happen is the adoption of cloud. Yeah, we have a lot of other buzzwords, but primarily what I feel is, you will see a massive thrust of people to start moving on to the cloud. And this is going to happen across all segments of the marketplace, from SMBs to mid-markets to corporates to enterprise to public sectors, all of the startups, unicorns, you name it, all of them. And the reason is very simple. And the reason is because any kind of technology today is available almost in a subscription-based model for any enterprise or any enterprise customer, big or small. For the smaller enterprises or SMBs or startups, this is a massive opportunity. This is a level playing field that allows them to compete with the larger players. Cloud allows them, or the democratization of the cloud allows them the space to compete with the larger giants. And you've seen that. You've seen so many smaller companies surpass some of the larger giants, and that's happening across. And the reason for that is what earlier used to be a massive investment in people, technology, and all of those things is now easily available on a pay-as-you-go model. So without doubt, in my head, cloud is going to be the technology that we will talk about in 2022. The second is, of course, AI and data. Everything that we are touching today has an essence of artificial intelligence, whether it is personalization, the products that you select, whether it is automation, whether it is environmental things, any industry that you go to. If you are recruiting, there are AI tools that allow you to scan candidates and get you the right candidates. So AI, the use of data analytics, of course, this is a second big trend in my opinion. A third, I would say blockchain, given the fact that there is this massive amount of trust, transparency, and security that are in use of in any application on the blockchain side, that in my head definitely is something that we will see across industry, not only in governance and finance. I have had conversations with CIOs where they're saying, can I use blockchain technology on the manufacturing floor to avoid pilferage? Can we have blockchain technology in my logistics operations so that the right product is delivered to the right source? And I think that's going to be massively used. And one of the things that you're also beginning to see is this whole thing called non-fungible tokens, NFTs, where most of the celebrities are already diving straight into it, because this allows you ownership of something which is perhaps larger than your own self, right? Where you can go and have a virtual ownership of something. It could be Sachin Tendulkar bat, or it could be a piece of art, or it could be a seat or on the vehicle to Mars, anything, right? And I see that as well. But in my head, it's going to be as AI, cloud, uh, data, blockchain. If I were to pick my pick.
Thank you, Vikas. Thank you for throwing light on this topic. Yes, so cloud first approach, blockchain, and you are a huge believer in NFTs, and that's good to look at. And of course, AI/ML is always there, and it's been picking up
Yeah,
pace.
yeah. AI, ML, Internet of Things. They're also interrelated. You will have 5G, 6G coming up. Devices are going to increase. The connectivity is going to improve. So massive amount of data, massive amount of automation. All that is going to happen.
Yes, and it'll be interesting to look at how industry will adopt it and how businesses will come up ways to
Yeah,
apply it.
the whole thing, Vaishnavi, is what kind of use cases can you develop, right?
Yes.
All these technologies are available, but where the industry struggles, in my opinion, and when I go and talk to technology leaders, is and rightly so, they come and ask me, can you tell me what use cases are you using in our type of industry? Where are you using AI in a banking industry or in healthcare or in education? Because while the technology are there, how do you build use cases is the next big frontier that we'll all have to, that's the chasm that we'll all have to cross together.
Yes, and that's an essential point, and I'm glad you said it out loud. So that was insightful, Vikas. Thank you for taking time out and enlightening us about the industry, about the customer expectations, and also about the technology trends that are going to come up and how important
Yeah.
is the application of those for businesses. It was great having you here.
Thank you so much, Vaishnavi. Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more updates on all things technology.